It's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Go. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. We rollin'!
Covering MMA from all over the world, this is the premier stop for all your combat sports needs. MMAjunkie Radio, the only show broadcasting live from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. The lights are on and the mics are hot. It's time to get your MMA fix, junkies. Take it away, Big John.
Gorgeous George and Goes, are you ready? Junkie Nation, are you ready? Let's get it on!
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George, and with me as always is the devious and dastardly Goes, our East co-host. Producing back east, it's Gabby. Josh and Dan are off today. What up, what up?
What's up? This is a skeleton crew or an OG crew?
I think it's an OG crew.
It's an OG crew, right?
It's the best looking crew. That's what you're supposed to say.
That's
Thank
true.
you.
Yeah.
The prettiest crew.
We're
Thank
from
you,
the
Gabby.
streets. Are you from the streets, Gabby, or are you kind of like a suburb gal?
Well, I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Ooh, okay.
But
That's
I like
a lot of tough people there.
so pretty cool. Yeah, and then I grew up in Jersey. That's where I live now. So a little suburban now.
All right.
If you could tell by the accent.
It's good enough. We got to maintain our tough profile here on this show. You know, this is a fight channel, and gotta let people know.
I could kick some ass if I had to. That's for sure.
All right. You might be the toughest one on the crew then. All right.
I might be.
It totally is, right?
I think so. All right. It's a fun show that we have ahead for you guys today. We're going to recap the weekend, start things off with talking about Prague, Czech Republic. There was a fight card there this past Saturday, and it featured Jan Blocka and Thiago Santos, and it was also called UFC Prague. And I can't even keep track of what fight night it was, but you know the whole sequence. It's the same card. We're all talking about the same thing, and we'll recap that fight card as well as the latest news in our sport, including some major news that we'll be touching on at the bottom of the hour when our first guest, President of PFL, Ray Sefo, stops by the studio. That's right, he'll be an in-studio guest. Big news coming out of that from that promotion today, and we'll touch on that. And we have in the second hour a couple guests that are going to be fighting at UFC 235. Ben Askren and Jeremy Stevens are both on that fight card. That's right, it is fight week, folks. It's a pay-per-view fight card here in Las Vegas, so we're pretty excited. A lot of our guests this week are already booked and locked in, and they're coming to the studio. So reminder to anybody that catches us on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 93, if you're rolling through town and you wind up in Las Vegas at any point this week, hey, check our guest list. It's up every day on MMAjunkie.com. And if not, just count on the fact that Goes and I, along with Dan, we will be here 5 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And there's many ways to get a hold of us via Twitter and Instagram, but you let us know you're stopping by. We'll do our best to have an MMA superstar here for you to meet. So bring that camera.
We ain't chop liver, though.
That's right.
You come here. By the way, if you're an NFL fan, come to our studio and then just duck outside the hotel for a second. You can see the brand new Raider stadium that's being built.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff to do over here.
It's starting to enclose itself in terms of the steel grids.
They have two really big pieces that are going to be going up this week.
Right. Pretty soon, I think we'll get to the point where we can't see in.
Well, I can.
You can?
So can you.
How's that?
The parking for employee parking, if you go up to the top, you could see down in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just barely, but yeah.
Okay. Plus, I got to imagine, I've heard some of the people in town have been getting stadium tours.
But there's not much to see.
Is that where you wear a hat and stare at dirt? I don't want to do that.
Pretty much at this point.
I kind of want to see a structure and, like, here's the locker room and, you know, here's the VIP lounge or whatever. That's what I want to do. This is what the 50-yard line tickets looks like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could do some of that, but definitely a good week if you're in town to come check out the show, like George said. And even when he walked in, like, we're still not done booking this week. This week's going to be massive.
It is, yeah. You were throwing some names at me there. One of them fights this week. You know that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first things first. Let's talk about Saturday's fight card, and then we'll just slowly progress. Because once we talk about Prague, I don't know. We may bring a few topics up tomorrow or whatever, but more than likely we'll be done with it. You know, it's look, fights are fun. because the UFC throws a lot at the wall. You know, I think there was 13 fights on Saturday. And when two human beings of the same weight or close enough are throwing bombs at each other, hey, you know, count me in. So we had some really, really good fights, and a few fighters, I think, took next steps to becoming well-known products. Maybe not contenders just yet, but guys and gals that we can get excited about, you know, for future bookings. Peter Yan comes to mind, by the way.
Oh, he's a beast, dude.
But what I'm going to do first is just tell you who won on the prelims and then progress up. And if something jumps out, please, by all means, throw it at me. And if not, I'm sure we'll zero in on the main event. And the co-main event also had a fight where a well-known fighter won and then issued a retirement. But, I mean, it looked pretty official to me. Gloves were left inside of the octagon, but he also left an opening that, hey, look, I just fought. I'm feeling emotional. This may or may not be it, but I believe it is. So here are the gloves, and he received the standing ovation. I thought it was great. So I hope that it is, because I don't think that gentleman has anything to prove. But I'll get to that in a couple minutes. Let's blast through this. Damir Ismagulov defeated Joel Alvarez. Unanimous decision across the board. A bunch of 30-27s. Carlos Diego Ferreira defeated Rustam Kabalov. And Kabalov hasn't experienced too many losses, not just overall in his career, but in the UFC. But it was pretty dominant there. 2 30-27s and a 29-28. Ismail Nardiev defeated Michael Praceres, another guy who hasn't had many losses. That guy's a little fire hydrant, man, Praceres. Whether he fights at lightweight or welterweight, he has not been an easy out. But yet he was dominated pretty well. 2 30-26s and a 30-27. Damir Hadzovic defeated Marco Polo Reyes, finished him in the second round. TKO punches. Jillian Robertson defeated Veronica Machado. Submission, rear naked choke there, second round. Chris Fishgold defeated Daniel Tamor. Submission, rear naked chokes, again round 2. And then Dwight Grant defeated Carlo Pedersoli Jr. TKO stoppage almost at the end of round 1. So it was fun. There was some action. But then we started getting to a little bit of the more familiar names. This is now the main card. It was all on I take it back. Some of it was on ESPN2, and then they progressed to ESPN+. Magomed Ankalev defeated Kidson Abreu 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. And then Peter Yan goes. This guy's on the map.
Dude.
He beat a well-known name, and that's what you got to do is, okay, you got a sexy record. It's 16-1 or 17-0 or this, but who have you beaten, you know? When you can tie in a name like a John Dodson, and especially 30-27s across the board, I think everybody goes, oh, okay, yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he was already taking a step in that direction in the last fight. But in this one, I mean, John Dodson, maybe this isn't the best part of his career, but he did what he had to do against that guy. And like you said, 30-27 against John Dodson is kind of hard to do. And he made him look bad at certain times. He took a few shots, and that's the thing is, like, a lot of his fights are exciting because he'll open himself up for his attack. But he's definitely a player in that division. That's what makes that division so much fun.
Yeah, I like Peter Yan. Been watching him for a while now, but now he's got a couple wins where people's attention, he's grabbed it, you know. So now you start thinking, hey, when's Peter Yan fighting again? Now when we see a booking, Peter Yan versus fill in the blank at UFC 236 in Chicago in June, you go, hell yeah. You know, it makes you become somebody that starts to invest in a ticket. If you like the card and certain exciting fighters are on it, boom, count me in. Liz Carmouche defeated Lucy Pudilova 30-27 and then 229-28. So that fight was fun. Pudilova was from the Czech Republic, and I'm telling you, the crowd was loud. Goes and I have been to Prague, actually, and it seems like a pretty passionate country for their sports heroes. You know, people kind of keep to themselves. It's a nice country, and we had fun visiting there. We were there for a couple days during the 2006 World Cup. But I'll tell you what, man, that would be a cool city to go watch MMA in. I mean, that crowd was really popping for her because she was starting to find openings and, you know, the possibilities to maybe, you know, flipping the script on Liz Carmouche, who was kind of in the driver's seat the whole fight and in every round, you know what I mean? She was always the one that I guess was like winning. But Lucy Podolova found some openings there, and it got the crowd really, really pumped up. But Either way, man, I think both ladies' stock rose that night.
You know, the thing with Liz is when she looks good, she looks great. When she looks bad, she looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. She can never really get like on a consistent roll. But I thought it was a fun fight. It's in enemy territory, and she did the most with what she could in that fight. And I thought it was fun, dude. It was really one of those fights that, like you said, it wasn't a back and forth, but there were enough moments to get the crowd involved, and it was fun.
Right. And so now what Liz Carmouche has done is she's won 4 out of 5. And look at some of the names she's beaten.
She's done it quietly.
Lauren Murphy, Kaylin Chikagian, Jennifer Maya, and Pudilova. Now, the last 2 have been a flyweight. The other 2 carry over from bantamweight. Her only loss is to Alexis Davis. No shame in that. So I think she realizes she's behind Alexis Davis in terms of chasing down the champion. There's a few other ladies as well, like Jessica Ai, that might even be ahead of both of them. But still, a quality win. I take it back. Davis lost to Chikagian, so there's kind of a round robin there, except the Chikagian win for Carmouche happened at bantamweight. But either way, it looks like Carmouche is at least gaining a little bit, and she's an option for Valentina Shevchenko because Valentina Shevchenko wants to fight soon, and Jessica Ai doesn't want to fight till June, so we'll see. But good win for Liz Carmouche.
What hurts Liz the most is if you go back and you look at the run she's had, it's like 1 a year. One fight a year. And that's what kills her is there's just so many new characters in all these divisions that you can't keep track. So, I mean, you have to stick around. You have to have staying power.
The year she fought Ronda Rousey, she fought 3 times. She went 1 and 2. But since then, you're right, Goes. She fought once in 2014, 2015, 2016, 17, 18, and now 19. But hopefully in 19, there's still time to rack up a few more fights, and hopefully those are wins. But I really, really enjoyed that fight. So good on both of those ladies, and we'll see what's next with Pudilova. But I think, when you get the crowd that excited, man, that's the type of fight where a young girl, if she's in the audience, there to support, a teammate or a relative or a friend or something. Because I can't imagine the stadium, these arenas are packed with little girls. I'm not trying to say that, but
especially in other countries.
Yeah, if they're watching at home or let's say they go there, that's what can maybe get somebody to think, wow, I'd like to try that. Dad, sign me up for 30 days for kickboxing or jiu-jitsu or whatever. Or maybe a boy can be inspired as well. Hey, wow, I want to fight like this young lady, like Pudilova. I think I got some skills. I'm pretty athletic. And so that's why the UFC goes to a lot of these towns, and that's why the UFC has a lot of these events, because they want to plant their flag and get people excited about the sport. And I think this event did it, and this specific fight really, really got people, invested in the whole event. All right, in the next fight, which now we get to the third one from the top, which is called the featured bout, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, something like that. He defeated Gian Vellante with a brutal liver punch, man. I mean, when they slowed it down, he threw a left hook, bam, and it bounced off his body. And John, of course, had that wince where you kind of fold over, and then you think you're going to be all right, and then there's about a second delay where all of a sudden you go, oh, my God, this is bad. He took a knee, and Mikhail Olek, just I shortened his last name, just, went there and like a feeding frenzy, man. He just started delivering some blows, and the referee had no choice but to stop it. He was right on the money, Vellante's always been a little bit of a partier, and there's always been this question mark around some of the guys that take punches that indulge in alcohol. Like Cowboy fell victim to a few body punches, and he's always bragging about the Budweiser, and a lot of these fighters put it out there. It's not like I'm selling them out or nothing like that. But it makes me think, is there something to that? I of course hope that Vellante's good to go and that he can bounce back from something like this. But that punch was on the money.
He just has terrible luck, doesn't he? I mean, he's one of those guys that when he's in form, he can take out just about anybody. He's a nightmare for everyone. But these little hiccups here and there, he just can't seem to grab that momentum.
Right. Yeah, well, he's a test. He's a test for a lot of light heavyweights. I think he and a lot of other people know that it's just not in the title scheme. And by that, I mean he's not within 3 fights or 2 or 1, much less 1. You know, he's just never really been able to pick up a win streak. You'd have to go back to when he beat Sean O'Connell and Corey Anderson. But after that, it's been win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, you know, all the way through this most recent run right here, this most recent loss, because prior to that, he had just won. He's been involved in 4 split decisions, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. So there just hasn't been much traction. But he's a body. I'm sure he appreciates the paycheck that he gets from the UFC at this point. And at some point, you know, he'll probably sail off into the sunset because now he's 33, and so there can't be too many fights left. But, hey, as long as the UFC keeps using him, he does seem to fight quite frequently. So good on him. All right, the co-main event featured Stefan Struve versus Marco Rosario de Lima. Stefan Struve, I think, lost round 1 to de Lima. And so things weren't going so well. Remember, he's 7 feet tall, but like they were saying, the commentators were saying, you get this guy on the ground and we're all the same length, same height. And so he was able to, you know, weather the storm, some ground and pound from de Lima. They get up, sit on the stools, come back, and now 7 foot tall Stefan Struve, you know, he starts to put it on de Lima. And it was funny because once he got him on the ground, did you see the way he just kind of stepped over and just sliced into his guard? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it was funny because I think Dan Hardy had a funny line. He said, wow, I thought he was going to step on our table. I mean, you just take these big old steps, cover so much ground. But once he was there, he was able to slice from, I think he started kind of like in a half guard to a side control. Then de Lima found half guard again, but he had a good lockdown and he couldn't get Struve to pass. But eventually Struve showed some patience, and once he was able to do it, he was able to get him into a arm triangle choke, and it was really, really a tight submission, man. De Lima had to eventually tap out.
You mentioned his retirement.
Right. Well, I haven't yet.
Earlier you did.
Yeah, I hadn't given the name.
You didn't?
So now I was just about to say this was the gentleman who then went on to announce his retirement. Kind of even caught Dan Hardy off guard. And as soon as he said, "You all have known the issues of my heart," you know, anybody that was like, "Come on, give us a few more," or anything like that, you just took your foot off the gas and said, "Bro, if this is your time, this is your time." Look, he's 31 years old. He's been fighting for a long time. He is a difficult fighter to contend with, but he did lose his 3 before this de Lima loss. So prior to that, he won 3 out of 4. Before that, he lost 2 in a row to Overeem and Hunt. Prior to that, he won 4 in a row. Decent names, too. Really good names. Pat Barry, Dave Herman, LeVar Johnson, Stipe Miocic. Anybody heard of him? Now, granted, I'm going back 8-9 years, but still, this guy's got a lot to be proud of. He's competed. If he has a serious, you know, illness or you know, condition, I should say, then, man, you can just see it in his face. He was content. He left with a win. He experienced that high, you know, that a lot of fighters, they look for that. And it's so tough because sometimes you don't get it, and you have to go back and wait and see, do I still have a contract? Do they still want me? When am I going to fight? Oh, my God, now I got to get through a camp. And those are just aches and pains, you know, bruising or whatever. This is a heart condition. This is a little bit more serious. So I salute Stefan Struve. Congrats on the win. And if that's what you felt that night, more than likely that's the right thing to do, and you know, back away and move on from the sport. But he left his mark.
Yeah, now I'm going to sound like a dick
Why?
the way you set that up. Well, because to me it didn't seem like, I don't know if he had it planned. Like, it just seemed like very emotional at the moment. What I would have done, though, if he had just like 2-3%, maybe I can come back and do this again. You beat Stipe Miocic. Why not just throw out, hey, man, you don't seem to be doing anything right now. You seem like you're waiting around. Want to get one back?
Nah, he's
just throw it out. And if the guy says, I'm way past that, then fine, go off. But for some reason, if he bites, right off on that.
I think he
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah. For one, it was in 2012.
Heart condition and all, George.
If he had won,
but he's cleared to fight
3 or 4 in a row, then yeah, that's the momentum, you know. But Miocic, he wants Cormier. And if Dana tells him, you ain't getting him, it's Cormier and Lesnar. Now what? You still want to continue to sit? Or what do you want to do? He immediately is going to look at probably the winner of Lewis or JDS. Or maybe even Kane off of a rebound, because technically they're both coming off a loss. Or maybe even Ngannou, but he'd probably say, I already beat Ngannou. Why would I have to deal with that guy again? But I don't see him going and shuffling through, because there's still going to be guys like Blades and others between him and Struve. So it's not the craziest thing I've ever heard, but I guess if he had maybe just 3 wins in a row rather than he had just had the 3 losses in a row prior to this win, then maybe he would have been able to dangle that. Because one thing fighters do like to do is avenge losses. So I see where you're headed.
None of that matters. All that matters is that he has the 1 win over the 1 guy, over the right guy. This may be a stupid analogy, might even be crazy. But if you're married and your wife cheats on you with me, but since then you're banging 10s and 9s, and you're going, man, I don't even care about what happened back then. Look at the girls I'm with now. But if I pop up in front of you, I'm pretty sure it's still going to sting a little bit. And you're going to go, you know what? I wouldn't mind socking that dude in his mouth for what he put me through back then. And I'm saying if there's just a small percentage of a chance, if it doesn't work, who gives a fuck? You just retired.
You know, when you said this analogy is going to be dumb, and you went down that road, I go, oh, my God, this is not only dumb, it's a catastrophe. But that was actually a pretty good analogy.
I'm just saying, when that pops up again, it still stings, no matter what.
Yeah, Miocic did go on to be a world champ, but I guess you're right. Yeah, you lost to that guy that's in the same room as you, and if
you
he's
retire,
giving you a wink or
cares,
a smile,
right?
yeah, I could see you thinking, okay, but
I remember you.
Maybe,
is what I'd
he
be thinking in my head.
But that right there, him leaving the gloves and him even not even thinking of Miocic probably tells us he's probably done.
Probably.
Yeah. So look, if he comes back, we welcome him back, and you know, the UFC will now. The UFC, Struve and his people, I'm sure, will always check him through thoroughly to make sure that this guy in no way, you know, is stepping into a dangerous situation every time he gets into this type of combat, because we just don't need that. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's had a very successful career. 29 wins is awesome. At least a dozen in the UFC and good names.
And the perfect example of that, George, is the guy at the broadcast desk. Dan Hardy. He has a heart condition, and he's been wanting to come back for the longest time, but he just has not been cleared properly.
Correct. All right, so the last fight here on that fight card, UFC Prague, it involved Jan Blachowicz versus Thiago Santos. Man, I thought Santos was going to win, but quicker, so I got stung on the under. I'm dumb. And as soon as I saw Santos' game plan, I go, I get it. It's 5 rounds. He's not just going to go out there and go 0 to 120 like he usually does.
That's what I thought he was going to do.
And then burn out. You know what I mean? He's on foreign soil. This is an important fight. He holds a key win over Anthony Smith. And should Anthony Smith win the title on Saturday, Santos can say, going back to Go's analogy, remember when I hit your girl? You know what I mean? So Smith's going to want that back. And he had to play it careful. And plus, Blachowicz is no joke. You can't just go in there and blitz him either, because if you find yourself on the bottom of Jan Blachowicz, you're in a lot of trouble. So he had to make sure that if Blachowicz got him down, it's because he had also, you know, tagged him a few times. And as soon as I saw the strategy, I go, okay, I still have a chance to win this fight, even though Blachowicz is fighting very well, but I knew it wasn't going to happen quickly. And sure enough, he showed a lot of patience, man, a lot of character. He was great game planning. He eventually caught Blachowicz. You know, he throws a lot of hooks, and they're very powerful, and they all come with bad intentions. And he missed some that were, you know, not a mile away, but he was off on a few of them. But eventually he caught Blachowicz, and was very, very impressive. Great win, and now this guy's yet another contender, along with the Johnny Walkers and Alexander Rakic and Corey Anderson, Dominic Reyes. You know, like heavyweight is starting to get exciting again.
Blachowicz didn't even see that punch coming.
No.
And I would be shocked if Santos' hand isn't broken. With that many hammer fists that he was throwing, it had to have been like 20 of them. Bro, like picture hitting something.
Great refereeing, too, by Herb Dean, because some of those were getting blocked, and he was standing there so casual, like he was waiting for the bus, just kind of looking, going, oh, yeah, we're not in any danger. You know how they usually cower over and they're ready to interject? Kind of like a little black girl in school when she's getting ready to double dutch and it's her turn. And he was standing there, but he was like playing it real cool, like it ain't my time to jump in. And, you know, all of a sudden, he started really landing some powerful punches, and then it was over. So he gave Blachowicz plenty of time to recover. I hope nobody had any arguments, but that was perfect refereeing by my man Herb Dean.
Blockowitz had a look on his face, though, just for a second, of, come on, man, why'd you stop it?
Yeah.
But did you see the look, though, on his face?
No.
But, I mean, I think if you're the referee, you got to go, come on, dog.
Yeah,
Like, you just weren't doing anything.
I get it. It's a big fight, but, yeah, if he goes back, I mean, come on. That was a fair stoppage. All right, so there you have it. There's a recap of UFC Prague. Some bonuses for performance of the nights went to Thiago Santos, Stefan Struve, Michael Olick, and Michelle Olick, I think we're calling him, and Dwight Grant. We had 16,583 in attendance, and the total gate was 1,606,176. Bravo to you, Prague. You guys came strong. All right, like I mentioned, some big news outside of the UFC. PFL is now on ESPN. Tremendous deal signed by the PFL, and the president of PFL, Ray Sefo, is going to join us when we come back from break. So stick with us, Junkie Nation. We still got a lot of show ahead of you. Ray Sefo here in studio, and Ben Askren and Jeremy Stevens joining us in the second hour. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation Channel 93. Stay close. We'll be right back.
your life will be a lot better. Here are Gorgeous and Goes.
MLB Network's radio spring training tour kicks off tomorrow afternoon at 5 Eastern as Steve Phillips and Eduardo Perez visit the Toronto Blue Jays camp. Hear interviews with manager Charlie Montayo, general manager Ross Atkins, and more. Only on MLB Network Radio Series 209, XM89, and streaming on your phone and at home on SiriusXM connected devices and speakers. All right, we got PFL president Ray Sefo here in studio, and like I teased prior to the break, the big announcement, man. PFL on ESPN. Ray, congratulations, man. Honestly,
Thanks,
that is such a great deal for you guys.
Yeah, no, we're super excited. The partnership with ESPN after just 1 year, one season, it just further validates who we are, PFL, and what we're doing.
Yeah.
And obviously, being the premier sports network in the world, all our fighters get to perform on this network now. I mean, it's just super proud to be partners with them. And, man, it's just, the future is bright for PFL.
Right. And like I was telling you during the commercial, we have these big screens here. Right now, we just saw it yet again. UFC 235 coming up. It's got the times, who's fighting. ESPN is, I got to commend them, man. They've really, really supported MMA, the UFC these last few months. So when I saw that, I just thought, God, that's got to be like such an awesome feeling for you guys to know that you're with somebody that's, I guess, putting a lot of resources behind mixed martial arts. I see you guys are going to be on ESPN Deuce. You're going to be on ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus.
Right.
And like I say, they're marketing across all their channels.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, again, I can't be more proud not only of our team and to be part of ESPN. Our second season, it's all on ESPN, and we have a great 2-year deal with them, and I'm super excited.
Okay.
Just over the moon. So thank you to ESPN for believing in us and what we're doing, and of course, I mean, this is great for our fighters, great for the fans, great for the sport. Of course, great for PFL as well. But to be part of a premier sports league or premier sports network, it doesn't get any better.
Right. So tell me about NBC Sports was a partner of you guys for these last few years. Was this like a free agency where they were able to like match offers, or did you guys part ways and then you opened yourself up and then got on ESPN's radar? How did that play out?
I mean, listen, NBC Sports has been great, was great with us, and when the time came, we both understood where we're going, and here we are. So it's you always got to thank ESPN for doing such a great job with being with us as well from the beginning. Because like I said from the beginning, even my earlier partners back at WSOF, one of the things that I made sure that it was going to happen is that we were going to be on the network. Because, and like I told my partners back then, if we're not on the network, I'm not doing this. Because, I just knew back then that there was a lot of fighters out there, and if we wanted to be part of the MMA world worldwide and be respected in the sport, you needed to be on a network. And so, huge thank you to ESPN Sports. But we're here now. We're with one of the best premier leagues in the world, and so you just thank the good Lord every day and continue to work hard.
How do you think you got on ESPN's radar? When did they approach you? Was it after a particular event or a particular fight?
Some of the team, we all reached out, and there were meetings that was had. At the time, we were also, meeting with other networks and whatnot, and like Fox and CBS and Amazon and whatnot. And so eventually, we felt like where ESPN was the right platform for us, and who doesn't want to be competing on the premier network in sports worldwide? You know what I mean? And so it's really a validation of what PFL is and what we're doing, and that they love what we're doing, and the fans love what we're doing. And so it's just, again, like I say, it's just amazing for the sport, amazing for the fans, amazing for the fighters, and, of course, incredible for PFL.
What are the fighters telling you? Like, I'm sure you got texts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you ran into some at the gym. What's their reaction like?
Everybody is sending me on all social media platforms. They're all saying, wow, congratulations, great job, this and this and this. You know, I'm getting texts, I'm getting emails from messages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, it's been such a positive. And, of course, hey, let me take this opportunity to say thank you so much to the fans for believing in what we do and for tuning in. And so, hey, listen, this is the beginning. And get ready for the ride.
There was a lot of fans that enjoyed the fights.
Right.
That enjoyed your guys' commitment. $1 million regular season / playoffs. But there's also a lot of fans that didn't believe in you guys.
Right.
They thought, can they do it again? How long are they going to last? You know, feel free to say anything. You can say something polite or give them one of these, because that had to be frustrating, and this is huge news, man.
No, yeah, absolutely. Listen, no, it's not one of these. It's just say, I get it. I get why people are always critical about something. They want to see something. They want people to prove. They wanted us to prove ourselves first,
yeah.
And we truly did that. And so to have a premier network like ESPN believe in what we do, see what we're doing. They can't deny that anymore. You know what I mean? And so all I'm saying is, hey, tune in and enjoy the show.
Yeah. All right. Ray Sefo joining us here in studio. He's 6-time world kickboxing champion, but currently he's now the president of PFL. PFL now in business with ESPN for the next couple years. He signed a deal that was made public today, and across many of the ESPN platforms, PFL will have season 2, regular season 2, 6 events, 3 playoffs, and then the finale on New Year's Eve goes. What do you have for Ray Sefo?
Ray, during this negotiation, I have to imagine it was pretty interesting to do, because as you're doing this, you're also trying to line up fighters for season 2.
Right.
And I would imagine a great selling point as to why they would compete in the tournament is to be able to say, you're going to be on ESPN. But I don't know that you were allowed to do that.
Well,
Did that happen at all?
No.
Maybe a couple winks here and there?
No, that was...
Are you sure?
Yeah, that was never mentioned to anybody. I believe somebody asked, a couple of fighters asked from the old season. I said, listen, there's some big things coming. So all I can say is it's huge. You know what I mean? And so... but no, we kind of kept it on the wraps, and believe you me, once it was confirmed, I couldn't wait. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited.
A guy I was thinking about today, Carlos Silva. He was such a big part of the organization, and then he went on to tennis and all that. But did you get a chance to maybe get a text from him or talk to him? Because I'm sure he was part of all that.
Right.
For a while.
Listen, Carlos. He's a brother, and I miss that guy. But hey, listen, I know that he's doing big things as well. And matter of fact, I got a text from him saying, "Congratulations, great deal." No, 100%. Carlos was part of this from the beginning.
Oh, he had a
yeah, 100%. Carlos was part of this from the beginning. So, brother, we did it. We're here.
Man,
dude, when we saw the UFC make this,
sorry to interrupt. I literally looked on Twitter, and a few fans had said it. But when I said that, I go, whoa. Like, that was my reaction. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen too often in this sport because we've seen it all. But that's how I feel, man. I'm happy for these guys. Good.
Well, I was going to say, when the UFC made their switch, even to Fox and then ESPN, they negotiated a lot of the control of the production and the way they like to see things.
Right.
And ESPN has been able to add their own wrinkle to it. It's been a good transition.
Right.
For you guys, what we're used to seeing out of the PFL and your broadcast, will it look relatively the same with a couple wrinkles, or is ESPN going to take an even bigger role in that?
That's a great question. Obviously, George Greenberg is, he's the best at what he does, and truly amazing partner, truly amazing guy. He's amazing at what he does, and so, he's going to take the lead on that. And, of course, ESPN is going to have a little bit of this and a little bit of that added to it as well. Obviously, anything's going to make this bigger and better from where we were at. And so to continue to make it grow and get bigger and look bigger, we'll take on everything.
I've seen your kid at Extreme Couture before.
Right.
And
What's his name, by the way?
Ramon.
Ramon. Okay.
I've seen Ramon, and he's holding pads for Ramon. But he's not your only kid.
No.
The PFL is kind of like your kid. And I got to imagine, is it like a little scary with as big as this is and as cool as it is, you're letting people come in here with your kid, and now maybe they're holding mitts a little bit. Like, does that ever get a little scary?
I haven't thought about it like that. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm just glad that he's enjoying doing that part of it. But yeah, I mean, you still gotta kind of have the right balance, and with that as well as PFL.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What I mean by, like, PFL being your baby. You know, and people coming in and saying, I think we'd like to do this and do that, because decisions get made so easily.
Right.
And you've spent so much time getting that recipe to where you like it.
Right.
So do you ever get nervous that people are going to be trying to change stuff?
Oh, no. No. So the cool thing about our team is that we all get to discuss everything and talk about it, and all. Listen, there's some things that I'm going to say that they might not agree with, and there's some things that they're going to say that I'm not going to agree with. But at the end of the day, we get the job done. So, and the job is done, and the decision is made to better PFL. You know what I mean? And so, no, I'm not at all afraid that would be somewhat kind of made without an input from the team. So, no, in that sense, I'm really confident in our team, and I have a great team. So I think PFL, especially on ESPN, is just going to get bigger and better.
So last time you were here, you were telling us January 15th was a day that you felt like you were going to be able to release the new rosters,
Right.
all the participants. And then I did run into you somewhere, and you said, we put that on hold. Was this what kind of made it put on hold a little bit?
Exactly.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
I see.
Yep.
So when do you think we can find out what the rosters are going to look like?
Are
Are they done, or you still got more decisions to make?
Pretty much. There's a couple of decisions to be made, but it's pretty much done. So I think that the first part of the roster is going to go out. I want to say within a week or two, and then the rest will follow a week or two after that. Yeah.
Are you guys going to do like you did last year, get all the fighters in one place like Orlando, and I don't know if you guys called it like a fighter summit or
car wash. Yep.
Yeah.
No, we did. Obviously those are in discussions at the moment, but I think we might do is bring in a certain group to Vegas.
Yeah.
And then maybe a certain group to LA, that kind of thing, So, but not everybody all at once. So, again, that hasn't been finalized yet.
All the former champs come back? Or?
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, and then I know you can't release names unless you want to. But what percentage of the roster from season 1 do you think is a good number to say is coming back for season 2? Is it a high percentage, middle, low? Or?
It's I want to say you're looking, out of 80 guys, you're looking at least 30, I want to say.
Oh, so it's going to be a lot of new faces.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't wait. All right, we got to take a break right now. This is Ray Sefo, the president of PFL. PFL has a huge announcement that was made today where they are now going to be broadcast on ESPN 2, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus. So they are now in business with the sports leader, and that's a huge, huge deal for them. It's for the next couple years, and it all kicks off in May when PFL starts regular season number 2, which is followed by the playoffs, and then, of course, the road to the championship, which will be decided on December 31st. And you guys are sticking with the $1 million?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Wow, incredible, man. I can't wait for season 2 to kick off. We'll be back after this quick break. Takes the politics out of it. Right.
Yep.
It also, I think it creates stars too.
Tell your boss to reschedule that meeting. Call your wife and tell her lunch is off. It's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes.
We're joined by Ray Sefo, the president of PFL, here in studio. And Ray, I wanted to continue asking you questions about this landmark deal between PFL and ESPN. It looks like they're not just doing regular season playoffs and then your championship night. They're going to also do exclusive PFL content, like previewing fights. I don't want to call it countdown because it's what they call it for the UFC, but those type of preview shows. Was I reading that right? Like exclusive content like that?
Correct. Yes.
So it features your some of the maybe the well-known fighters or isolates big fights that are coming up.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Which is again, it's going to be great for the fighters, great for our talent, great for everybody involved, and. Again, I mean, right now I'm just sitting down because I'm sitting down, but I should be jumping up and down right now.
Do your announcers get to announce?
Yes, our announcers are announcers.
Your crew?
That's correct.
Like Eve and Randy and everybody?
Correct. Everybody apart from Todd Harris because he's actually part of ESPN.
Oh, that's right.
Of NBC, sorry.
So who's your new announcer or your new play-by-play? Have you guys done that yet?
Yeah, we do have a good guy in mind. So, but I think we're just waiting on George to finalize that.
Oh, I see. All right. Yeah. TSN in Canada as well was also part of this.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm not as familiar, but I've heard of TSN a lot, through our sport. But was that like a deal that was? Are they part of the ESPN family, or is that just a separate deal that you guys did the same announcement on the same day?
I think they're part of the ESPN family.
Okay.
But, I was just talking to Misha Shirkanov, and apparently TSN is the biggest sports.
Huge.
In Canada. So, again, it's going to be amazing this year for all the fighters because, they're going to be all over the world. People from around the world can watch PFL, whether it's on TV or on their phone or on their computer or
are you going to have licensed apparel, or can the fighters wear their stuff?
No, it's going to be just like last year.
Okay.
And the reason why we decided to do that, obviously they can have sponsors.
Right.
But the reason why we wanted to do it like that was because we wanted to keep it clean and look professional. Mm-hmm. That's what it says, professional fight.
ESPN will be a game changer for them on the sponsor front too.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Give me an idea of how many texts and messages did you get that weren't No, actually, tell me how many were in congratulations. I mean, you're in the hundreds and thousands.
Yep, 100%.
Blowing up.
Yep.
And then what about people that want to conduct business with you, whether it's fighters or managers on behalf of fighters or sponsors? Like on that front, how much do you think your life's going to change now, man? Are you going to get much rest? Are you still going to be able to corner other fighters? I can't.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
This is my life. I love what I do. I love my fighters. I love PFL. I love everything we do about the sport. I love the sport. Listen, like I said, I get to wake up every day, and I thank the good Lord every day that I get to do what I love to do. And part of that is being the president for PFL, and the other part is coaching, and the other part is seeing my fighters go out there and display their talent. But, hey, this is what I do. I love it.
How's the relationship between PFL and UFC? Can they, because you're on the same network, can they plug an upcoming event for you guys? Like
that would be great.
You guys have never really seemed to be rivals in any sense of the word.
No, I got nothing but love and respect for the UFC. Again, I go back to what I said from day one when I started WSOF. Nothing but love for them, and coming from a martial arts background, that you're always going to give praise and thanks to the people that came before you. And the UFC have done an amazing job doing what they do, provided an opportunity that we're able to do what we do. And so, no, I got nothing but love for them. And, hey, listen, if we can somewhat do something together, that'll be amazing.
Have you felt from them, that type? Like, has anyone from the UFC reached out to you?
No.
Okay, they haven't reached out yet.
No.
Do you think that'll be something that'll happen where they can promote your show, or even if it's just a live read during their show or a commercial that's ran, or is there any dividing lines between you guys?
No, I haven't been told of any, and you know, I'm not sure exactly how that is, but hey, that would be truly amazing.
Will you still use the point system in the regular season to get the playoffs, or did anything change there?
Nope, that is exactly the same.
Okay, and then in the playoffs, for example,
you
have one fight and 2 fights in one night?
Correct, yes.
So
the playoffs will be the playoffs where you fight two fights in one night. And, of course, the points that you've earned from the regular season will sit you in where, you know, 1 versus 8, but cool. You know, 7 versus, yep, exactly.
Have you already sorted out your rules for 2019, if you're going to change any at all, or is that still in the process?
No, I'm trying to think which one. There was something that we changed, which I can't actually remember what exactly right now, but, I mean, it's not much at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very.
I can't wait, man. We're almost done with February.
Yeah.
So what do you got? March, 2 more months, and then we're.
And that's just it. Yeah. You know, I couldn't believe. Like, I mean, we're almost at the end of February, and because PFL the championship round was New Year's Eve, by the time it was the 10th of January, I'm like, it's the 10th already. You know what I mean? But that's because, you know, we're working right throughout. So.
Well, again, congratulations, Ray. Thanks for stopping by. We hope the best for PFL.
Thank you.
I can't wait for the season to start on ESPN and all fronts there. And so congrats to you and the team for all the hard work. And
Thank you.
And, you know, I can't say enough.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me. And, of course, to the fans, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
All right, folks. Give them a follow on Twitter at Sugar Ray Sefo. And this is the top of the hour break, so we're only going to be gone for about 90 seconds, and then we'll be back. And in a couple minutes, we'll be joined by UFC welterweight Ben Askren, who debuts in the UFC on Saturday versus Robbie Lawler. And following him, we'll have Jeremy Stevens, who has a big fight coming up against Zabit Magomed Sharapov. Stay close. It's the MMA Junkie Radio Show on Fight Nation, Channel 93.
They were forged from the same ball sack, but act as though they've never met. They are the brothers Garcia, Gorgeous George and Goes.
I'm serious. It couldn't have happened to a bunch of nicer dudes. At least the ones I've met. Greg Savage, Ray Sefo, Ali Abdelaziz back in the day as well. I haven't met a lot of the executives from PFL. Carlos Silva, serious. The fighters that we've met through PFL as well. Ray Cooper III, Lewis Taylor. You know, a lot of the ones that we had just really hadn't heard of too much. It's been a fun ride covering them. And, again, my jaw dropped when I saw that news. So I'm stoked for those guys. I don't have any I'm not invested in them. I'm not a partner or anything. But I did see a lot of, you know, it's funny because I don't like to say this phrase, MMA fans are this or that, because I know that it's not the same ones that say one thing and then say the other. Maybe some do, but it's rare. But there was just a lot of negative fans out there that are like, $1 million, oh my God, these guys are destined to fail, blah, blah, blah. The checks aren't even going to clear. Hell, I think even John Fitch said that. Well, they did, because we spoke to a few fighters, and they got the money, trust me. But a lot of people just didn't think these guys were going to make it. And look, there's still more work to do. But come on, in your second year of being PFL, and now they're together with WSOF, they have a little bit of a longer history, and it's not all the same people, but either way, to now be featured on ESPN Plus, ESPN, The Deuce, ESPN Deportes, that's tremendous. And I just think the sky's the limit, because just in a few weeks, 2 months, I guess, that the UFC's been with ESPN, I've seen ESPN really, really get behind the sport. And I think that's great. I've seen them do it on social media. I've seen them do it through their website. Now the tab is constantly there. Not just when it's a big fight weekend. You see MMA there, along with soccer and MLB and NFL and all the other major sports. So they've held up their end of the bargain, and now hopefully they support these guys in the same way, because MMA is a great sport. And I'm telling you, man, the fights that I see, I still can't believe goes. The other day when you were in my room and you said, wow, your bed is like razor blades, because I have this bed where the frame kind of sticks out, and if you don't clear it, you can cut up your shin or whatever, or your ankle, depending on how you're stepping, especially me in the middle of the night, when it's dark and you're just like groggy. It's like, boom, stub a toe. Well, just that hurts. And, dude, some of these kicks that these guys take, or these spinning elbows to the back of the head. Remember when you mess around with your friends and you get pissed if someone just socked you in the shoulder or whatever? Mm-hmm. Man, what these guys and gals do is so on another level. And I don't know if their body just becomes body armor at some point, and some of these just skid off their chest or off their legs, or what the next day's like. I mean, we all heal. We all have a little bit of the Wolverine within us. But either way, man, it's really, really a great sport. More people just need to see it. So this is great. That's all I can say. It's great for the PFL, and now I'll wait and see in May how things go for them. But I just got to believe that PFL 2 Season 2 is going to be even bigger than PFL Season 1.
Just ask for a couple theme songs, though. That UFC one's killing me.
Yeah. Hopefully,
if people aren't talking, it's playing, and you're just going, not again. Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Hey, we got time?
Maybe PFL, maybe Ray can submit and say, can we get our own song?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a few minutes before Ben Askren called me.
Your razor blade room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last night, I put that stuff. My girlfriend had given me something to put on my forehead that's supposed to make you sleep well.
Yeah.
But she had done it to me the 2 nights before, and I had to apply it on myself for the first time. And I remember when she did it, so I was sitting up.
Explain what you're saying. Is it almost like Visine? You just let
a
little
kind
drop
of
hit your forehead?
Except like a little bottle like that, except you kind of rub it on.
Right.
And I guess a little bit comes out, but I didn't know that. And I guess both times she had done it while I was sitting up in bed, and I did it while I was laying down. So I couldn't tell if there was anything coming out or what. And remember, I asked her for the peppermint one? Big mistake. So
trickle in your eyes?
It trickled down into my eyes. So I was instantly blind and in pain, a lot of pain. I couldn't see, so I had to navigate my way to the restroom. Then I put water in my eyes and started flushing my eyes out. What happens when?
Is this the bullshit you're trying to give me?
Well, it's my fault. I was the idiot. But what happens when you get if you have a bunch of Tic Tacs in your mouth and you put water in your mouth, that feeling you get?
Yeah.
That happened in my eyes. The cold water reacting to the peppermint. So now my eyes are on fire times 1,000,000, dude. I'm crashing into things, stubbing toes, tripping. I finally went to bed.
Gordon Ramsay on Hot Ones?
Worse. I went to bed praying that I wasn't going to wake up blind. Because when I actually did fall asleep, I still couldn't really see. It was a mess, dude. Wow. I was a mess last night. It burned so bad. But I did sleep good.
All right.
So if you want, you could try it.
I guess. I guess it's something where I just I got to put a mask on my eyes.
Well, I guess
don't know.
I think I just put too much, or I couldn't tell that I had put too much. But yeah, it's not supposed to roll into your eyes.
All right. Some other big news from Saturday. I want to repeat it. Stefan Struve looks like he has retired from the sport. Well, he left a little bit of an opening that he may still come back, but he had a really, really solid career, man. Congratulations again to Stefan Struve. You can never take away that win, man, over Stipe Miocic. It was early in their careers, but still. All right, Dylan Danis also, he got a suspension for his participation in the UFC 229 brawl. We'll be covering that a little bit later. It'll be part of our daily debate, but still, it's pretty big news. It's Conor McGregor's submission grappling coach and one of the most polarizing figures in the sport. He's only had a few fights, but man, people either love him or hate him, and most people hate him. But he did get slapped around pretty good, man. I felt like he was just a dude that didn't really act too much different than others. After a fight, if there's a lot of heat, sometimes there's finger pointing and yelling or whatever. And I don't think what he did really warranted Khabib climbing over and doing what he did. And so at that point, if somebody's throwing hands at you, you're probably throwing them back at them. So, but we'll touch a little bit on that on the daily debate a little bit later in this hour. Embedded is up. UFC 235. It is fight week. John Jones' second fight in like 90 days, and he's defending against Anthony Smith. So between him and Tyron Woodley, defending, and all the big names like Munoz and Garbrandt and Stevens and Askren and Lawler, I mean, this is a good one for you to share on social media and get people interested, because I think this could be a really, really big fight week that we look back at the end of 2019 and go, hey, 235 came strong. I'm not saying it'll be the biggest, but I think it could be one of the biggest.
It's stacked with names.
It's stacked really nice.
But the matchups itself, does it have the making of being a great card? Do you know what I mean by that? Because you got a guy like Tyron Woodley, who a lot of people, he's either hot or cold, right? And then Kamaru Usman has kind of that style that's not the most crowd-friendly, right? Some people could say the same thing about Ben Askren at times, right? Robbie Lawler's got a great one. And then John Jones and Anthony Smith, if you look at the line, it's just one guy is so highly favored over the other. Mm-hmm. Awesome names on the card, but do you feel like the matchups have potential
to be chess matches? Woodley and Jones are very good about finding your weaknesses and exploiting them, and they'll carve you up slowly but surely. They don't go for quick kills. Well, I take it back. Of course, Woodley throws a lot of, he throws his punches hard, his kicks hard. So he has done it before, and I don't mean it that way. But what I mean is he's also content to play the chess match. He knows he can throw as harder than anyone that's ever punched at 170 pounds. But he's also very content in executing the game plan, whether it calls for it or not, whether the opening's there or not. His last fight ended pretty quickly. He got the title pretty quickly. In between them, yeah, there was some really, really slower fights for most people's taste. John Jones, he's one of those guys that can play chess, but he's pretty entertaining in the process of doing it, because he pretty much dominates you so bad that you're kind of in awe to see, wow, this guy's way better than the other dude. And this other guy, I mean, you actually start, your mind starts to wander in the middle of a Jones fight. You already get, like, in the Gustafsson fight, no disrespect to Gusti, but about the second round, I just started thinking, man, who's next? Could Reyes do something about this? Does Walker have something to say about this? Could Anderson get a takedown? My mind was already drifting into other matchups, because I was seeing the thing unfold, and he was just carving them up. And then, so Jones can do that, actually, and he can be pretty entertaining. His fights don't get booed too often, but yet he's playing chess as well.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to Randy Gordon and Jerry Cooney at the fights, and they were talking a little bit about how we were breaking down GSP versus Floyd Mayweather, how both guys dominated their sport, but they did it in a little bit of a different fashion. And I started thinking a little bit about John Jones, who's another guy that's going to go down in history as one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. And I think what's interesting about both those guys is they won fights different ways. They just weren't like Floyd Mayweather basically said, I'm going to be way faster than you. You can't touch me, and I'm just going to piece you up little by little. But he never had those fights where he came in and just demolished someone in 2-3 rounds, unless it's tension. But, I mean, he just kind of did it the same way and just challenged people to be better than him. These guys, if you guys are hosting fight parties, like George said, if you're introducing new people to the sport, make sure you make that point. That the thing about John Jones, what makes him so dangerous is he could kill you a million different ways.
Right.
And you can even put him in the worst position possible, and he'll still find a way to get out of it. And GSP did the same thing, and I think that's what kind of separates those people.
Yeah. This is the weekend to have a fight party. Mm-hmm. Honestly, get your friends together and have a fight party, because there's going to be some really, really good fights, and there's a lot of ranked fighters, so this is really, really going to be a good one. I know we got to take an early break here in the second hour because our guests are going to be back-to-back. It's going to be Ben Askren followed by Jeremy Stevens. I just want to say one thing on the way out. The referees have been decided for the main event and the co-main event. Herb Dean will oversee John Jones versus Anthony Smith. Mark Goddard will oversee Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman. Both gentlemen will receive $1,900 for the night of work. The judges for Jones and Smith will be Sal D'Amato, Junichiro Kamijo, and Chris Lee. And Mike Bell, Derek Cleary, and Dave Hagan will oversee the Woodley and Usman fight. Those gentlemen will be paid $1,600 for their work. All right, it's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation Channel 93. Stay close. We'll be right back.
This one's George, and that one's Goes. Now, feel their wrath.
Now, I know I said we have a few guests coming up, but we'll have some pockets, I think, to take a couple quick calls. So remember, you can always call in anytime within the 2-hour show at 877-FIGHT-93, and we'll do our best to get you in. You know, start chiming in on UFC 235 coming up on Saturday, or reflect on UFC Prague, which just took place. In fact, I think we have a call ready to go right now, right, guys? Who do we have?
It's Showtime, George.
Showtime from Tennessee. What's up, Showtime? It's your time.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What
Not
up?
much, and you?
Nothing much, nothing much. Just sitting here chilling, drinking a Modelo.
Oh, nice.
Cool. And you thought of us, huh?
Yeah, thought about my guys. Looks like I'm gonna be making an impromptu trip to Vegas again, so I'm trying to see how
For this
this
event?
weekend is gonna go. Well, initially I was coming to the event. Then I thought I wasn't gonna be able to come to the event. Then, you know, some things happened today that it looked like I might be coming to the event again. Well, I'll be in Vegas on Friday. I don't know how long I'll be there, but
All right, so either way
trying to
you're
get
coming to
right.
Vegas. It's whether you're going to the event or not.
yeah, because I was just looking on there trying to find some tickets. Is it sold out already or something? I mean, I didn't see any on Ticketmaster.
I
I'm
don't
gonna look on
know.
the
There's
UFC.
always a way of getting them.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's sold out officially, but
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking on
I haven't heard
Ticketmaster,
it.
and it wasn't.
I think we
it
would have
wasn't
heard
parties
if it was
coming up.
sold out, and I haven't heard that it is. So I'm sure there's tickets still
okay.
available. Goes is right. Vegas is
Yeah,
one
I
of
know
those
somebody
towns where
probably does
tickets
that.
are always floating.
Yeah, I may have to stand out and pull a John from Salt Lake.
What does he do?
Master wait to the last minute and get it. He'll wait till the event start, like right when it's about to start. He'll get a ticket.
I've heard of people doing that on StubHub, right?
No, he'll do it out. I think he did this outside.
Oh,
You know,
there's a
people be trying to
Oh, he's
sell
just
them,
watching.
they
He's
gotta
watching the
get-
ticket brokers, huh? Saying,
Yeah.
all right, what's your move? You either
Yeah.
gonna pour cornflakes over these
Yeah.
tickets, or make something, right? Something's better than nothing.
Yep. That,
Now,
but I've heard of that-
what does that mean? Does he miss 2 prelim fights, or does this move get made when the main card has already started? When does this high stakes poker game start?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ask him about that because I remember him being at a card. He got tickets and came in. I didn't even think he was coming in, and he ended up saying he got 2 tickets, you know, from somebody out there. But I've heard of people doing that. Their play of waiting till the prices go
I
down.
did that with the World
People
Series.
want to sell the tickets.
We got in for when the Angels won it.
You went to a World Series game?
Yeah, I went to like mostly all of them, or at least 3 of them,
Oh, wow.
when they played the Giants. And we would stand outside, and we would miss like 2 innings. But then all of a sudden, you're watching the brokers, and they're like, you know, the same guys that were saying $300 or $500 for like a $60 ticket or whatever. You'd be able to talk them down to like $100 or $80 because they knew, oh man, you know, you just stand there watching each other and still 0-0, you know, and all right, here we go. But I haven't tried that for fights.
Yeah. Are you guys? Will the show be on during the weigh-ins, or what time? I'm gonna have to figure out what time the
The
weigh-ins
weigh-ins
are.
are at 4. They end at 4:30. We start at 5, so we'll be able to react
Okay,
to the
cool.
weigh-ins. But those are just the ceremonial weigh-ins. The real weigh-ins are in the morning, 8 to 10. I don't think those are open to the public. And so by then we'll know all the drama. Did somebody make weight, miss weight? Hopefully there's nobody that gets pulled. You know, sometimes weight cuts don't go well or whatever. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I was giving you guys a holler, man. I got to get this time. See, I've been off the road. I don't know if you guys know. That's why I hadn't been calling in as much because I've been home and I've just been doing a bunch of crazy stuff. But I get back out on the road full time tomorrow.
What time zone are
I'll
you
be
in?
back in the queue. Eastern. So you guys come
so
on a
we
little
start
later
on
for me.
we start at 8 your time.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks for the
8
call.
my time. So yeah, I'll come through and see you guys Friday.
All right, cool. See you Showtime.
Okay.
All right. Now, I just want to give people an outlook of preview of what's happening here with our show. Tomorrow in studio, we have Tisha Torres and Diego Sanchez. And then on Wednesday, we have Mickey Gall and Johnny Walker both in studio. I believe Justine Kish is going to co-host with us in the second hour on Wednesday, so she'll be in studio. Thursday, we have Rich Franklin, Demetrius Johnson, and Eddie Alvarez in studio because one championship is invading the MMA Junkie Radio studios. Friday's looking pretty good, too. I got a couple big names up my sleeve. I just can't publish them yet.
Friday?
Because, yeah. Because I don't want to jinx it, for one.
Yeah.
And two, I mean, they're not confirmed, but they're really looking pretty good. In fact, there might even be a third, too, but it'll all depend on how these weight cuts go.
I get a hint?
It would be a fighter from the card.
Oh, okay.
No. Well, that wasn't the hint for – let me see. Okay, one hint is just fought, big name. And the other hint is he used to be our landlord.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd have to be an idiot not to get that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that should be how the rest of the week's looking. And we're still looking to fill out a couple other spots. No word yet from our guest, huh?
Nothing. It seems like no. So far.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just continue plugging along here. UFC 235. It goes down this Saturday. And I wanted to ask you guys, John Jones, what does he need to get back? If he doesn't fight at heavyweight, and for damn sure I don't think he's going to middleweight, but if he never wins another title, and he's just the greatest light heavyweight ever, can he still hang in the champ talk or in the GOAT talk, even though there's other champs that have the argument, well, I won in 2 weight classes, even though they may have taken losses like DC and George St. Pierre and Conor McGregor or whoever else, maybe Cejudo if he were to beat Dillashaw. What weighs more for you? Somebody that's won 2 titles like that, or someone that's just never lost?
Man. See, the thing is, with John Jones, that's a really good question because he's defeated a lot of former champions, which I think is very impressive. He's done it in a dominating fashion. The only thing I think that hurts him less than doing 2 titles in different weight classes is the PED allegations and all that. I think that's what's going to really hurt him more than anything. But
yeah, luckily it's not like it's an official award. It's just someone's opinion, But people have good debates on different talk shows or
he's fought a who's who.
Circle of friends, people have these arguments that can become heated but passionate. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, that's something that you can go, are you sure? That's what happens when you have those allegations against you. People just are left wondering. But look, man, I always remember what Daniel Cormier said. He goes, man, he beat me, Cormier since then has gone and beat another great fighter in Stipe Miocic. But God, I'm pretty impressed by the guys that have done it in multiple weight classes personally.
Well,
think about how many great fighters there are who have never won 1 title. And then there's dudes that have not only won it, but they won a second one. Fuck, man, you got to be an absolute beast to do that.
There's a difference, too, between going from 145 to 155 or 135 to 145. That's 10 pounds. GSP did a 15-pound jump, and he went up. That's pretty impressive. And then
about a 30.
Yeah, and then jump. going into heavyweights. His is impressive too, but you also have to remember, he did the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix, so it's not like we were all thinking, is he even going to be able to hang with the heavyweights? We had a pretty good idea that he could do that. A lot of us breaking down that GSP fight said these guys are just way bigger. This is going to be a very tough fight for him.
Yeah, you're right. Well, every time Jones racks up a win, we have to look at pound-for-pound rankings, and then there's going to be a lot of people that chime in, social media, this show, website, forum comments, whatever, on GOAT Talk. And Anthony Smith is a very solid opponent who earned his title shot, but Jones has been away from the sport for a long time, and there's just been a lot that's been done while he had to serve out some of these suspensions, and like I say, primarily these guys that have won double belts. But it'll be interesting to see if he wins, because you can't disrespect Smith like that. But if he wins, where will he reside? For some, he's just the greatest, and that's it. You're not going to talk them, out of it, and that's fine. I'm not saying they're wrong, but either way, I look forward to it. I think that's always some of my funnest discussions when we talk about the greatest. And it's so funny because over the years it was, Couture, it was Liddell, it was Fedor, it was this, it was that, Vanderlei. Yeah, well, GSP, well, what about Panel? What about Anderson? And all of a sudden Jones and Connor. And now we're just, some of those other names are slowly being, forgotten. Not to say they weren't great, but still. All right, I think we're going to take our another break right now. We're going to split up our big break in two. Let's take one right now. I think the ship has sailed on Ben Askren, unfortunately. But we are looking forward to talking to Jeremy Stephens when we come back. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation, Channel 93.
Do what they say. Your life will be a lot better. Here are gorgeous Santos.
All right, let's get going here with our next guest. His name's Jeremy Stephens. He's going to be fighting at UFC 235 on Saturday night. He's got Zabit Magomed Sharapov in front of him. They can be featured. They'll be featured, on the prelims, which will be on ESPN. That's right. Big ESPN. And Jeremy Stevens now joins us on the hotline. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? Welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio.
Just dropped, guys. I'm going to get him back on. Sorry.
Okay.
His phone fell off. I'm going to get him back.
All right. So let me tell you a little bit about Stevens. Stevens has 28 wins, and it looks like he's at about he has had 19 knockouts in his career. Now, of those 28 wins, he's had 12. Man, he's like at 16 wins just in the UFC alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty amazing career if you think about it.
Yeah.
And he's beaten some good fighters. Rafael dos Anjos. I mean, that one's really stands out. Kind of did a number on him, honestly. It was a while ago, but still. Darren Elkins, Dennis Bermudez, Gilbert Melendez. So he's mixed it up with some really good fighters over the year, and again, over the years. And he'll be fighting Zabit Magomed Sharapov on Saturday. ESPN's got you covered. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? Welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, man. So listen, Magomed Sharapov, I'm sure you've heard there's a lot of buzz around this guy or whatever, but do you feel like you've been getting your due? I mean, we just kind of went through what you've done, like 16 wins in the UFC, 28 wins overall, 19 by KO. Do you feel like you may be being overlooked because of this guy and, you know, the pretty amazing start that he's had in his career?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about that, man. It's all in the past. You know, what's been done is done. I get another opportunity to go in there and take a young, hungry kid out. You know, once again, ESPN, I get to reach a new crowd and show people my skills and what I've been working on, and I get to put this guy's lights out, derail another hype train. You know, it seems like it's my favorite thing to do these days.
What's your favorite way to knock somebody out? Of those 19, do you have a couple favorites, or is there is it hands, kicks, knees? What do you like?
It's always my next one. People always ask me, what's your favorite knockout? And I tell them my next one. They're like, no, seriously, like, what is your favorite knockout? And I'm like, my next one. I don't really dwell in the past. You know, what's been done is done. It's ancient history. I feel like I'm not the same man as I was last week. You know, I've done, a crazy amount of training, just by Monday to Wednesday. You know, I've already put 6 different sessions in of training. You know, so it's constant evolution, constant adaptation and evolving and getting better. And, you know, I get to up it again one more time. You know, I've knocked people out with my right hand, my left hook. I knock people out with my knees, my shins. You know, I'm not just a one-punch type dude. I knock people out with all types of different styles and ways, and it's just my go attitude of always my next one's going to be my best one, and I'm looking forward to, I'm a knockout artist. I get to go in there and perform some art March 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Well, my favorite is the one at UFC 189. For one, that card was amazing. Dennis Bermudez is a quality opponent, but, man, that was a pretty vicious KO that night. But you're right. I guess let's look forward versus looking in the past. You got Zabit Magomed Sharapov in front of you. And, you know, you've kind of done that before. There has been other people that have been presented in front of you as a young up-and-coming talent, and you've dispatched that. But what I want to ask you is, when you've had these KOs, you run around and you're excited, and I know it's that rush that only someone that's been in the cage will know what it feels like. How long does it take you to eventually calm down, you know, throughout the night and just become, I guess, a normal human being, a husband, a father, and just chill?
Probably about 3 days, my man. It's funny you ask that, because I always ask people, I'm like, yo, bro, do you ever just stay up and, like, just rewatch anything, or do you ever just, just be up, like, naturally?
Uh-huh.
You know, just enjoying yourself, like, and I don't really know too many people who do it. I'll stay up for about 2-3 days, and just be, especially if I knock somebody out in an exciting style. I have such an, what do you call it, just the feelings, the emotions. I mean, how much I sacrifice for that moment. I'll be living on that high for about 3 days, literally, like naturally just be up and enjoying myself. And then, you know, you get your love from your family, your friends, your coaches, you know, your team, the people, you know, your management team, people who help you out, people who just love and care for you, you know. So that's always a good vibe to have, and it's good energy to go in there and just keep getting that love, man. It really puts you on another level.
How excited are you when your teammates win as well? Whether you went to the arena yourself as a fan that night or you watched it on TV, the same thing? Like, do you get it? I mean, obviously not as pumped as for your fights, but do you still have, like, really, really good high energy when your teammates are out there doing their thing?
Yeah, I definitely do, man. Win or lose, man, I definitely feel the vibes. Like when Dominic regained his title and he beat TJ, I mean, I remember being in my buddy's living room and our whole team was there, and man, we threw beer all over the floor. We felt bad about it, so we ended up paying my buddy's wife. We ended up emptying our pockets just to clean her carpet. we were enjoying that, man. We know what it means, you know, from a guy like Dominic who's been through so much, and to go in there and just destroy the dude who was supposed to beat him, who mimicked him for all these years. You know, it was tremendous because we're a part of that journey. You know, we go in there and fight, but you know, our outward focus is our coaches. You know, when I'm tuning into my coach, I can hear what he's saying to me inside the octagon. So in case things ever go stale or whatever, I'm looking for an outward source to help me out. You know, them guys are there. Same with my training partners. These guys put in blood, sweat, and tears with me. And when they go and they achieve their goals, it's good to show that gratitude because it comes back around to us.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, that sounds like a pretty amazing story. So what happened when they announced Dominic's name? You guys all just did like a big dog pile, like when a baseball team wins the World Series, and you guys just poured beer over each other, and like it was nuts, huh?
Yeah, it's more or less we just forgot about the beer was in our hands. We were just like, oh, like it just went flying, like the whole house, like it was insane. Like I think there's a video of it out there somewhere, but yeah, basically like we won the World Series. And we just went nuts. Like, no one even cared. It was just like, we were just going nuts. You know, we were so happy for him, you know, and know what he's been through and be a part of the journey and the ups and downs and just be like, fuck, like, man, when is he going to make it to a fight? And then for him just to go in there and beat the champion, a guy who was supposed to beat him, a guy who was mimicking his whole way, talking so much shit, and he goes in there and he beats him and gets the job done, man. There's no better feeling. You know, people can be like, oh, he's celebrating, that's kind of cocky. You don't know what sacrifice these fighters and I and my teammates and everybody goes through just to get there. You know, it's a constant battle with ourselves each and every day, and we're all fighting for a lot of the same reasons and the same purpose. And to go in there and get your win and accomplish something, especially let alone in the UFC, you know, that's a tremendous accomplishment. You know, not a lot of people, let alone even get to that level, and know what it feels like, man. So. Since day one, any time that I'm winning, you know, I've dedicated my life to this sport. Everything I've got in my car, my house, my clothes, everything I got is from busting somebody up, beating people down. You know, that's the way I've survived my whole life. That's the way I've been able to provide for my family is fighting. Fighting's truly everything that I got.
You know, you got 28 wins overall, 16 in the UFC, and of those 28, where obviously some were outside the UFC, 19 by KO. And then you know what's another amazing stat is 9 performance bonuses. So you really are like a showman. You know what I mean? I hope that when these contract negotiations come up, you throw all those stats at them guys, and hopefully they start, or they have been writing you some big checks, because you definitely are worth the money.
I appreciate that, my man. That means a lot to me, you know, and I'm definitely earning everything that I got. You know, every penny that I got, I'm earning, and I'm still searching for more. You know, when I get another opportunity to reach the Espn crowd and people tuning in there on the main event for this upcoming fight, March 2nd, and just make another great moment, make another opportunity out of this. So I'm super excited, and I appreciate that, my man. You know, if you really knew my story, I was born for this. I love this. I love doing what I do. You know, like I said, I got everything through fighting. I provide for my daughters. I get to go on vacations. I get to provide for them, and you know, everything I got is through fighting. So it's been a long journey in getting here, but I'm definitely grateful for everything that I've been through. It's really put me at this moment And I get to, once again, seize the moment, March 2nd.
Goes, what do you have for Jeremy Stevens?
Jeremy, I just want to second what George was saying. Just anytime we get you on the show, we always go back and we look and just we're amazed at everything that you've been able to accomplish up to date. So I wanted to ask you, can you maybe give me two things? One thing that you learned along the way in this process, whether it was coached or you learned it from another fighter that really helped you change your game, and then one intangible that was just kind of God-gifted, something that came natural to you.
One, I guess as far as would be probably my old teammate and still lifelong friend is Josh Neer. He's one of my best men at my wedding. He's the one who really instilled this type of hard work. I was never the hardest worker. I was never the most cardio guy. I never had the most talented. You know, I literally made myself into this guy that I am. I was an insecure kid back in the day. I was bullied. I was picked on. You know, I've been through a lot in my life, and I really had to, you know, make a lot of changes and decide that, hey, motherfucker, this isn't going to be you your whole life. You're going to do something about it. You know, for example, I was living in a car with my mom, and I just particularly remember this night where I was staring up at the moon, like, why me? Like, why am I going through this? You know, why am I living like this? Like, why are my parents split up? Like, why is my mom an addict? And, you know, now today, I look back and I go, why not me, motherfucker? Like, why not me? Like, look at everything I've been through. I've accomplished so much. I've put in grown men on the canvas, basically painted them on the canvas. Like, why not me? I've done spectacular things in my life. Look how much I've been through. I realized this is my purpose. I was born for this. And my buddy Josh Neer, along the way, he really just kind of instilled that hard work in me. And really showed and led the way for me. And that's something I'll never forget. He was actually out here helping me with this camp. He came out here for a week, and it was just incredible having him in my house, having him around my family, and just show him like how far I've come. You know, going on runs and putting in the work. He's like truly impressed. He's like, damn, dude, like you're at the right spot. Like, you're doing everything right. You know, you're really putting in the work. And like I said, I wasn't ever just born like that. I really made myself into that. And as far as the next question, what was the second part, bro?
So one was the one thing that somebody taught you or coached you, and the other one was just something that you had from when you were a baby.
I feel like something that I had from when I was a baby is just my mental toughness. Just, I'm a mean, mental, tough motherfucker, dude. You cannot break me, you know? You cannot break me. I'm unbreakable. I'll keep coming back and back and back. And I won't stop until I'm long gone and dead, bro. You know, like, I will keep this type of savage attitude. I remember as a young kid, like 21, 22 in the UFC, I remember telling myself, don't ever lose this attitude, Jeremy, because this is what's making you. This is why you don't ever stop growing. You constantly learn. You go back and look at my fight with Rafael Dos Anjos, I was just a kid who was throwing knees and hooks and really just trying to throw devastating stuff. Now I'm a very skilled, calculated, cool, calm, like a bomb type dude. You know, I have a great fight IQ. I have great experience. I have head kick knockouts. You know, I have flying knees. I have timing. You know, I've broken 3 of the last 4 guys that I fought. They're not even fighting on the roster. I'm talking about Gilbert. You know, his leg is still in Canada. You know, Choi, he's pushing papers in the Army. He doesn't even want to fight no more. Emmett, he's nowhere to be heard. You know, in the last fight with Aldo, all I did was just collect a bunch of data of what needed to be fixed and what I can do to get better. I've been able to work with that data, and like I said, I can't wait for March 2nd, ESPN main event. They're giving me these types of shows because they know what they're getting with me. It's always balls big, hands swinging when I'm fighting, and people tune in to watch.
God damn, I'm fired up.
I want to like end the show and just I'm so fired up that I just want to like watch this fight now.
We'll leave it at that. Follow him on Twitter at Little Heathen MMA. I know you got practice coming up.
Go get that boy. Go get that boy.
How am I supposed to do my job after this?
At the hot yoga in Bonita.
All right, my man. We appreciate the time. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for the love. I really appreciate the kind words, man.
All right.
God bless you guys.
All right, we'll see you. All right, big shout out to Jeremy, Leah, for making that one happen. All right, we're going to take our last break. I got to collect myself. Now I wish the fights were tonight.
I know.
Or tomorrow. This dude's got me pumped
Gabby's
up.
got to host the end of the show.
I'm telling you, Zabit is a favorite, but do not overlook this dude as an underdog because he has if he puts it on you, man, you know, he's dangerous. I'm not saying he's going to win. I don't know the outcomes, but all I'm saying is maybe just enjoy it as a fan and let the best man win and don't get too caught up because Steven's done a lot in the sport against some great fighters, but we'll see. All right, so again, it's our last break. We kind of split our big break up into two, and we'll be right back. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation, Channel 93.
They were forged from the same ball sack, but act as though they've never met. They are the brothers Garcia, Gorgeous George and Goes.
Tonight at 10:30 Eastern, the Dallas Mavericks collide with the LA Clippers on NBA Radio, Sirius 207 XM86, and streaming on your phone and at home on Sirius XM connected devices and speakers. Clippers at home tend to go over and they cover a lot, but Dallas is hard to get a read on. So good luck with that one, hoopsters. You're on your own. I don't have anything to give you. Now it's time for the Daily Debate. Hit it, Gabby.
Brothers Garcia seemingly can't agree on anything.
Everybody knows it's duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season.
Whether it's food,
Less filling.
tastes great,
Less filling.
tastes great, gambling,
Always bet on black.
I like red.
Black. Red. Black. Red. Black, dummy.
or even social media.
Instagram.
Snapchat.
Instagram.
Snapchat.
The same applies to the biggest stories in MMA. Time for MMA Junkie Radio's Daily Debate.
Today's hashtag daily debate question 4 at MMA Junkie Radio. Bellator fighter Dylan Danis today was fined $7,500 and suspended 7 months for his role in the hashtag UFC 229 post-fight brawl. Was his punishment fair? Yes or no? Please discuss. Goes?
It's hard to tell somebody that no matter what they've done or what they've been a part of, if they're getting attacked, to not do anything about it. And, I mean, what was he supposed to do? Right? You have an eagle jumping down on you. You're not just going to stand there and take a beating. Now, granted, I guess you can go back and say, hey, you shouldn't have got involved in all this anyway then, right? If you didn't want that to happen. But come on, man. This is an edgy sport. Things like this happen. I thought it was a little too harsh for him, to be honest.
Was his punishment fair? You're saying...
I don't think it was fair.
You're saying no.
I'm saying no.
Okay.
It's on par with how is his suspension just about the same as Khabib's? Khabib's the one that started it. Doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. What should it have been?
I think it should have been less. Maybe
Like a timeout? I mean, that's...
a 4 month and that fine a little bit lower. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't make Connor bucks. He doesn't make Khabib bucks. It just... What was he supposed to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they gave him $7,500 and 7 months, and
It's close to fair, but I just... It's got to be a little less, I think.
and what were you saying? 4 months and how much?
I don't know. 4 months and maybe half of that.
This one's 1 month more than Connor.
Or maybe some community service time, stuff like that. You know, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think the big thing is they endangered the public.
Did he?
No.
He just defended himself.
Yeah.
He was part of an unfortunate incident. Granted, his mouth probably put him in that, but at the time, he was just there. Another guy jumped on him. What was he supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
You got to make a statement because that's what you got to show the people that you're out there to protect them, but it just doesn't seem like it's on par with what the other two did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I think basically the problem is he's attached to a big money fight, and he's part of a camp it's like a big money camp. Big money camp because Conor McGregor, everything about it, like him and his entourage, you know, and I think that's what he's falling victim to. In fact, with Khabib being public that he's covering for his guys and paying their fines, which are way more than Dylan Danis, it could be that that's what NSAC was doing, was just forecasting that McGregor can afford it. We actually didn't go too heavy on him, so bam, this is what you did.
Well, I hope he does.
Could he have just stood there and not thrown any punches?
No.
Security was kind of on the spot.
No, you're not. Why are you going to stand there and just take a beating? That wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, they really weren't like in close quarters for too long, right?
Right.
So could he have just maybe, what was it? Was it street cred, or why did he need to throw back?
Yeah. Well, for one, you don't know your surroundings. You don't know that security's going to be there right then and there. It's televised. I'm sure it's pretty heated.
He waved them on, so it's not like he was.
I mean, he had his little part in it.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, this is an edgy sport, and things like this are going to happen. In his case, like I would say, you need to focus more on the dude that jumped out of the crowd and on the people than the guy that was defending himself.
All right, fair enough. I understand your point. All right, well, this is how the voting broke down. We got over 1,000 votes. 65% said no, they agree with you. 35% said yeah. So there's disparity there, but I think, you know, 1,000 is an easy number to figure the math out on. 350 people thought, you know, that it was the punishment was fair, and so it was pretty balanced.
I mean, it sucks, but you can't play with wolves and then get pissed when you get bit, right? That's really what it comes down to. For even if it sucks for him and he thinks it's the most unjust thing, he's part of that situation. He put himself there.
All right. Well, there you have it. There's our daily debate question for today. And thank you to everybody that participated, Junkie Nation, the readers of the site, the listeners of the show. We appreciate it. Here's a couple that came through. Mr. Drunk Beard on Twitter says, you could dislike the guy for many reasons, but the fact is he was suspended and fined for being assaulted, which doesn't make any sense at all. The NSAC is corrupt. One more here. Aaron Barnett at Aaron B505 says, I really don't give two flips about that clown, but that is BS. He was attacked and get fined. So there you have it. There's a little bit of that 65% that said no. All right, folks. Let's see here. We have UFC 235 ahead of us, and I wanted to quote some odds, Stevens, but I know he had to get going, and we appreciate his time, and we'll see if we can rebook Askren, or maybe we missed out. I don't know. Sharapov, I mentioned the odds earlier. He's anywhere from like 249 to 255 as a favorite. Stevens comes back at anywhere between plus 200 to plus 221. So the odds makers are clearly making Magomed Sharapov a favorite here. And I think Stevens is a little slighted here, man. I think it should be closer.
Why do you think it? Because I think the same thing, but I want to see if we're on the same page.
Okay, because for one, Stevens isn't just – everybody thinks that he's a heavy-handed striker, and he's not. He kicks really hard. Like he noted in the Gilbert Melendez interview, he has a diverse attack, and I think he's rounded out his game. I think he could even admit to you, yeah, when I started I was a brawler. But he's kind of a technician now. And Zabit, like when he fought, who was it, Bokniak? I remember there was times where he just couldn't put him away. And you can't be in there that long with Stevens with the way he attacks. You might get hurt too. So I think, Sharapov he should be the favorite. I just don't think he should be that big of a favorite. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not sure Zabit is going to be prepared to be backed up. And that's what Jeremy Stevens does to people. He backs them up. He puts a lot of pressure. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen quick. Because there's not going to be any distance between those two.
We'll do more odds tomorrow. Here's one last one. Garbrandt minus 162, Munoz plus 148. Maybe that's another one we'll have to discuss throughout the week. We'll figure out some parlays, have some fun with it. It's fight week, folks. Keep it locked on MMA Junkie throughout the week. Lots to cover. 2 title fights and some great matchups, man. And remember, prelims on ESPN, then the pay-per-view. So it's going to be a huge fight card for the sport of mixed martial arts. All right, we are out of here. For Goes and Gabby, I'm George. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. Go out there and be a champion.
2, 1.